World of YouTube, True Crime Material for Sight. Stepping aside from the material for sight to do everything else. And been checking out some places. And this story keeps coming up. I just keep getting drawn to it. Come to find out, there was a police officer back in 1971 coming home from a shift from Norton, Massachusetts. And I believe he lived in, says he lived in Easton, Mass. So I'm going to do a little mapping of this. And I knew of this story, but due to the fact back when I was just getting into this story, trying to figure out the swamp area, or so-called the exact place of where a lot of this supernatural, paranormal, UFO sighting, Thunderbird sighting, and everything else was being, where it was mainly coming from. And yes, there is a lot of stuff actively in the Freetown Forest. But also there's activity, and I thought it was more into the Freetown Forest than what it was, but a location I have went to of the Hockomock Swamp, and that is something I'm going to map out in a minute, like I said. But one of the rare sightings of the Thunderbird was spotted. Now, once again, we are led to the fact that what is beneath us. In these stories, I keep getting drawn to this story. I was supposed to go back to the Hockomock Swamp. And due to the fact that I got my night vision camera now, that will be on the to-do list. I have not fully done a good run test with that camera yet outside. I think the first place I want to go with this camera would be Dover, Mass, with the Dover Demon, because I did, and go figure, and I'm extremely peed off that the footage I had of that place, I had it on my SD card, put it in this new camera to play it, and somehow it erased, along with everything else I have had caught on the SD card. Erased. I don't know how. But out there I caught this light. And I did put up a video of it, of this dim light coming out. And it kind of looked like a lantern, but yeah, it was a eerie feeling I got from this light. But now that I have my new camera, and I'm hoping, right, the spirit world don't take over on it and screw it up. These are the two main woods I need to go to, especially the Hockomock Swamp. Now knowing that sighting was there of the Thunderbird, which the Thunderbird has been seen in the also Fall River Forest, but yeah, this whole triangle is just hugely infested with supernatural forces. And, but even the Dover Demon Forest is very highly infested also. Whatever that blinking light I caught, because I was on another camera, phone, and at least 20 to maybe 50 feet further in the woods from that camera. So, you know, but like I said, the camera screwed up after that. And I think whatever was in them woods screwed up my camera. So yeah, I'm hoping this camera, I have had phones that went dead. But this camera, I have finally, got it down. I did mention, I think, that I was saying there was no playback, but I figured it all out on my own. You gotta rub your finger on the stupid screen. It is gonna be tough doing stuff, trying to get, screenshots or whatnot, or whatever I need to do to get something if I find it on the TV. But once again, I will figure it out. But this officer, was, there's a Thunderbird, but this guy here, whoever wrote this, and Weird Creatures of the Erie Bridgewater Triangle Thunderbirds, this person is claimed to have seen a Pukwudgie, Native American. Everything leads back to the Native Americans, and that Hockomock swamp was cursed. And I have said that before I even read about it. Because, of course, natives say, oh, there's stuff in that forest we don't mess around with. No, there's stuff in that forest that they put there, and they just don't want the legends to be found out. But, hey, what can you do? They can, I don't know why they would be ashamed, saying that today. Just like the old Ye no Lushi, meaning one who walks on all fours, skinwalker. These creatures were made to keep people off of sacred land. I'm sure, even hell. I mean, the biggest bird we got right now is in California, the condor. But if this officer said that this bird flew straight up in the air, he got time enough to see it, the wing expansion and everything, and said it just flew up and disappeared. Where it went, as I say, could it have went in the swamp? Portholes is what I think. And like I say with the UFOs, same thing. They got these rivers, lakes, mountains, what's beneath us. And now that I've fully, got this in my brain of this story, like I said, it came up a few times, or maybe a time in the past, and I was like, huh? And I was just at that point where I couldn't figure out, or was trying to figure out where this, occurred, and it just didn't come out right. Like I said, the main things of the Bridgewater Triangle, and trying to figure out where the most happenings happened, is, of course, in the Freetown Forest and the Hockomock Swamp, like I say. And here is why. Like I say, in the past, when the Europeans first came to America, they killed off millions of Native Americans, with diseases and muskets. Of course, the diseases were a big, huge cause. And for some apparent reason, something about over there, off to our east sister land, you know, out there in the old eastern part of the hemisphere, China, Africa, you know, for some reason, yeah, all the bad diseases are out there. I mean, it sucks. Feel sorry for them people. They got hit up with the bad stuff on that side of the continent. And, but, of course, coming on this side, trying to get, you know, away from all that, they brought it with them. Sucks to say. But, you know, but it didn't give them any excuse of why they stole land, you know, sent natives off for slavery, and, you know, took over this whole Western Hemisphere and made it their own rules, regulations, and so forth. So, like you're well known by me, and I will tell the details that need to be told of Native Americans, that these curses were put on these lands for that purpose. Hey, just like the Europeans didn't know no better of Native Americans, they were only doing what Native Americans would, Europeans would do if Native Americans came over in their country and started taking it over. They would defend it, vice versa. Nothing you can do about that. But with all the witch and shamans, Europeans do have that over there, yet let alone, you know, African cultures have voodoo type rituals. They have their own tribes, and, you know, but I'm sure you're, you know, you're English, you're British that come over here that started all the wars or whatnot, have their own beliefs. Of course, you guys have the Black Shook out there, but I also believe that could be another form of skinwalker, transported. Whatever it may be, you got American Werewolf and London Moon. I mean, I'm sure them stories are of the Black Shook. But it doesn't matter because everybody protects their land. And this is what the Bridgewater Triangle is made of. And actually, I've even made that Bridgewater Triangle bigger. And I have my own version of the New England Triangle. Because it just don't span in Bridgewater no more, as I found out. It spans from Connecticut to Bridgewater, all the way up to Vermont, in the Bennington Triangle. And all these creatures that exist and have talked of, all are in the realm of my New England Triangle. And yes, I will say that I have made that up myself. So, in this being strong Native American land throughout all of New England, hell, the whole United States, when you come across these natives' lands, yes, you're going to get the supernatural, the spirits, and the tales of all what has been made. Like anywhere else, you having folklore, just like Japan has their own warriors of the past. But I wanted to share this because, like I said, I'm determined to get my butt out there. Because I have been on the power line side of the Hockomock swamp. And when I was out there, I started smelling something, like a musky smell. And I stopped into another bed of weeds or say cattails, what you call them, swamp cattails that stick high out of the swamps. And I stopped at 3 of them, and I'm going to stop at more this summer to see if I smell that same smell. And I've only smelt that smell due to the fact of, like, say so the dead brings it forth. But this guy was going home. He was near the Hockomock swamp. And I don't know where Bird Hill is. I've been trying to find this place, the exact location. But I'm going to go with what I have on the map. So, I'm going to show you a little bit. It was well after midnight. Of course, here we go, people. In the middle of the night type thing where the dead silence is what brings out the most spiritual creatures, of course, or ghosts. He saw a bird, and it was, he reached Bird Hill near his house. And like I said, trying to find that, it ain't on the map. There's a bird sanctuary, like, I don't know, maybe 5 miles going north from this section. Dropped down to the pavement and towered 2 or 3 feet above the roof of his car, making at least 6 feet tall, wingspan, 12 feet. Down he set his vehicle in the intersection. Stopped his vehicle at the intersection, studied a strange winged giant flapping its massive wings. The gigantic bird flew straight up over the trees before it disappeared in the darkness of the Hockomock swamp. When he got home, he thought about what he saw for a moment. And here we are. This is the thing, folks, right? Like I say, back then you talk about stuff like this, people laugh at you. Sometimes you get your ass sent to the nut house. You're crazy. There ain't no such thing. But for some reason, I also believe in my research that if you're not a real, true believer, and if your mind is occupied from the world of the dead or the spirit world, and you have that part blocked, I'm telling you right now, you're not gonna see nothing. You know that movie, Dr. Sleep? Oh man, when I seen that movie, and when it first started out of this guy drinking at a bar. Now, if you've seen Dr. Sleep, you gotta really pay attention to this movie. And right, what did he do? The same thing I did, which I had encounters when I was a kid, but I blocked it out because I didn't know what was happening. At the time, I didn't understand things. And by the time I got into my teens, after hearing a voice in my head trying to kill myself, let alone a voice in my room saying, don't do it, stop. That was, I believe, my Uncle David that came back from the dead telling me, don't do this. And after that, I, dragged up an attitude, changed my whole criteria of my life, and, did what I did and ended up started to drink. And then I really blocked everything out. But now that I have been traveling through New England and going to these sites of Native Americans